Hello Year 11s, welcome to our first lesson on the Biomechanics unit of work and the flipped classroom system. So I just want to introduce you to firstly biomechanics and secondly what this whole idea of flipped classroom is. So firstly, biomechanics, couple of ways to define it, and this is our next topic of study for the next 4 or 5 weeks. So it's all about the science that is behind human movement. So why we move, how we move, and also the analysis of this movement. So that's biomechanics. And the first thing that I want to introduce you to when we think about biomechanics is a force. And we can really easily define a force as either a push or a pull. So when thinking about a force, thinking about the body, if we are pushing or pulling, that is a result of our muscles, okay, working. And as you know, when a muscle is working, there is the agonist that's responsible for the movement. So if we have a look here at the sumo wrestler and this young guy here, the aspiring sumo wrestler, he is pushing. So you can think force, think sumo wrestler, think push. Or you can think tug of war and you can think about these guys. So the rope is coming in this direction for them, this direction for them, and tug of war, they are pulling. Okay, so our force is a push or a pull, and that force comes from our muscles if we're thinking about the human body. Okay. And the last thing for us to cover is this idea of the flipped classroom. So the flipped classroom is quite simple. What I want you to do is I want you to watch the video at home, or you can watch it at school, whichever is easiest for you. There'll be most likely one a week, that's all, and these will be about 10 minutes long maximum. So what you need to do is watch the video at home. I will put it in 3 places, so you can choose where you want to watch it. So the first place will be YouTube. I've set up a account there, so that can all go through there. So YouTube. The second place will be Facebook, which most of you are members of the page, which is awesome. If you're not, and you have a Facebook, just join that page, 11PED, Mrs. Renda. And the last one, in case you don't have access to the internet, is the student drive here at school. So you can actually go on there and find the folder, which I'll get all set up, and you can watch that. I'll show you that in a minute. So YouTube, Facebook, or S-Drive, whichever one works for you. Now what you'll do is you watch it at home, you'll complete the worksheet. Sometimes there'll be a worksheet. It won't be a huge requirement for you, probably really only about 5 minutes work, and you'll come to class ready to apply your knowledge. Pretty much the reason behind that is so that we can do a lot more practical, a lot more hands-on stuff, rather than me doing this in class, taking 50 minutes or an hour to do it, and then having not much time for practical. And I flip it around, you do kind of the learning part at home and then apply it at school. So that's an intro to biomechanics. Remember, it's the study of the human movement, the analysis of it, why it does what it does. Force was the other thing we looked at, just a real quick introduction to that because that's a key part of biomechanics. That's a push or a pull. Think sumo wrestler, or the aspiring young sumo wrestler for the push, and if you think the pull, you can think the tug of war. That's the way to remember it, and remember the muscles are responsible for that. And lastly, just the idea of the flipped classroom, which will be in action as of today. So that's all for today, guys. Thanks for listening, and yeah.